Ever think about starting over, leaving the past behind and stepping into a new life? That was me, determined to rewrite my story. I'd just moved into a brand new condo after a rough stretch in my life. A few things had unraveled all at once. The end of a relationship, a job I'd outgrown, and the kind of unsettling sense that I was stuck. I told myself I needed a clean slate, a place where no old memories clung to the walls. This condo seemed perfect for that. Modern, minimal, a fresh start wrapped in steel and glass. It was one of those smart living spaces the brochures bragged about. Everything was automated, voice-activated assistants in every room, sleek black cameras tucked discreetly in the corners, a climate system that learned my preferences, and an app on my phone that could control it all. Lights, locks, temperature, even the blinds. It sounded like the future, convenient, efficient, safe, and at first, I loved it. Walking in after a long day felt almost luxurious. I'd drop my bag, say, lights on, and the place would glow instantly, warm and inviting, as if it knew I was tired. Music followed me from room to room. The fridge politely reminded me when groceries were running low. Even the locks whispered reassurance, front doors secured. It was seamless, effortless, almost like the condo was looking out for me. But then, things started happening. One Tuesday night, I was working late on my laptop when I heard it. The soft, mechanical click of my front door lock sliding into place. I froze, listening. Then, clear as day, the system's voice said, "Front door secured." The problem was, I hadn't locked it. I hadn't even touched it. Heart thudding, I walked to the door and tested the handle. Sure enough, the deadbolt was engaged, solid and unmoving. Maybe I leaned on the app by accident, I told myself. But my phone was on the table next to me, the screen dark, untouched. I stood there for a long moment, staring at the lock, a quiet unease creeping in. Who locked it? Or worse, who unlocked it before the system decided to bolt me in? But later that week, I came home from work and the thermostat had been set to 72. I never set it to 72. I like it at 68. The system greeted me like always. Welcome back, temperature adjusted. Adjusted for who? I told myself it was just a glitch, a new system, a patchy update, nothing to worry about. But one night, as I was brushing my teeth, I caught something in the mirror. Behind me, the small red light on the corner camera was blinking. Recording. "Hey," I said out loud, toothpaste foaming. The light turned off instantly. The timing was perfect, too perfect. And there was no voice activation. Now, that was weird. I stood there staring at that little black lens, feeling ridiculous. But I couldn't shake the chill. Why was it on in the first place? I hadn't activated it. Over the next week, the feeling of uneasiness grew stronger. I'd sit on the couch, watching TV, and feel like someone was watching me. I'd turn, nothing. I'd be working at my desk and swear I heard the faintest click of the microphone switching on, like it was waiting for me to say something. Every time I brought it up to friends, they laughed. "That's just what smart homes do," they said. "It's always listening." But that was the problem, wasn't it? One Friday night, I decided to run some tests. I kept the Wi-Fi on, but cut the system's cloud connection, making sure nothing outside my condo could control it. For the first time in weeks, the place felt quieter. No assistant voice, no automated greetings, just me. The silence was oddly comforting, almost like I'd finally drawn a boundary. For the first time in a while, I felt like I had real privacy. But in the middle of the night, I woke to a sound that made the hair on my arm stand up. The blinds. Slowly, mechanically, they lowered themselves with that faint, deliberate hum, each slat clicking into place until the last strip of moonlight disappeared. I grabbed my phone. The Wi-Fi was still connected. Local network only. No cloud. The system shouldn't have been able to do anything on its own. And yet, it did. The next morning, I went through every setting, every log file, every update history. According to the system records, no one had touched the blinds. No one had touched anything. Still, the logs had gaps. Entire hours were missing, as if nothing happened during those times. But I knew better. The last straw came on a Wednesday night. I was half asleep when the assistant's voice echoed softly through the living room. Door unlocked. My body tensed up. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared at the ceiling in the dark for what felt like hours. When I finally worked up the nerve, I turned on every light in the condo, one by one. Nothing was there, just me, just silence. I wanted to believe I'd misheard it. I wanted to believe it was just stress from long hours. But I could not shake the feeling that there was obviously something wrong. Who was adjusting the thermostat? Who was locking and unlocking the door? Who was lowering the blinds? Or worse? Was it just me imagining things? No, I can't anymore. The next morning, I disconnected everything, cameras, mics, speakers, even the router, and sent it all to a computer specialist. A week later, he called with his conclusion. Someone had hacked into my network. They hadn't just been playing with the smart features, they had access to everything. The cameras, the locks, the thermostat, even my schedule. Every detail of my life had been recorded. After that, I couldn't stay. The condo no longer felt safe. This time, I found another place, smaller, older, no smart systems, no glowing screens tucked in the walls. Just keys, light switches, and locks I could trust with my own hands. I checked myself into the clinic last month, voluntarily. They said it was for rest and observation, but really, I just wanted silence. My mind hadn't been quiet for weeks, not since the voices started. At first, they were whispers, like someone muttering in the next room. Then they got bolder, louder. They didn't sound like me, but they knew things about me, things I'd never told anyone. "Turn left," one of them said, one morning as I walked to work. I ignored it. 10 seconds later, a car ran a red light and missed me by inches. That's when I started listening. The clinic seemed safe. White walls, friendly staff, group therapy where everyone politely shared their issues. But I noticed something strange about the layout. 5 patient rooms, numbered 1 through 5. Still, the intercom often called for staff to report to room 6. One night, I asked a nurse where it was. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second before she said, "You don't need to worry about that." But the voices whispered, "Find it." I tried to ignore them. For a few days, I actually felt better. My thoughts slowed. I even laughed during art therapy. Then, around 3 a.m., I woke up to the sound of humming. Not from the hall, not from the room next door, from inside my head. The voices spoke in unison for the first time. Room 6 is open. I crept into the hallway. The clinic was too quiet. No nurses, no cameras blinking. It felt staged, like everyone had stepped aside to watch what I'd do. At the end of the hall, where the walls usually met, there was a door, gray, unmarked. I swore it hadn't been there before. My hands trembled as I pushed it open. Room 6 wasn't a room. Not really. It was a mirror, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. And in it, I saw every version of me I'd ever imagined. Me as a child, crying. Me as a teenager, angry. Me as an adult, tired and hollow. They stared back, their lips moving in sync with the voices in my head. "We kept you alive," they said. "Now it's your turn." I stumbled back. My turn for what? They smiled. To let us out. Panic swelled in my chest, but something cut through the noise. A memory of my father's voice, steady and calm. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. I whispered it aloud, over and over, even as the voices screamed. And for a moment, just a moment, they went quiet. I slammed the door and ran back to my room. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm out of the clinic now, going to therapy twice a week, and learning to separate what's real from what isn't.